struck by the loveliness of the neighbour's tree, leafless against such a foggy sky this morning. So lovely. And there's our walnut tree, which I absolutely adore. Also showing us all the beautiful patterns of its branches. Well, we got absolutely soaked. It's pouring with rain. Mr. Stitches was pretty well kitted out with a rain jacket and rain pants, although even those don't seem to have held up completely to the onslaught. And my winter coat is warm, but it obviously isn't completely waterproof because my arms are really wet and my jeans are wet below the coat. So yeah, it'll be nice to get home and change into PJs. Get some dinner. I baked some gingerbread people today. They are very bizarre shapes. They come in all shapes and sizes, just like real people. It didn't help that I put some crystallized ginger in the batter, and it hindered my cutting quite badly. But they taste good. I didn't bother with the currants for the eyes in the end. The oven was ready ahead of me and I just wanted to get them baked. Winter solstice, the longest night of the year and the shortest day. We embrace the darkness. We hibernate. We enjoy the warmth inside in comparison to the cold outside. Light will gradually come back. We have faith that the light will return the day after the solstice as the wheel turns for Yule. Gradually, day by day, the days will get longer. And as the light returns, stirrings of life will be seen in the garden, in the plants and animals. Let's take a moment to feel gratitude for the plants that feed us, the animals that share our world, the heat that we have in our homes to keep us cozy, the electric light that we have so that we can enjoy our activities in the evenings and not have to go to bed as soon as the sun sets. Yule blessings to you all. It's winter solstice. It's Yule, the longest, darkest night of the year. And unlike the people of old, we do have faith that the sun will rise tomorrow morning. And we'll be very grateful for that. I've made myself a lovely smelling cinnamon vanilla tea. And the gingerbread cookies made the house smell very lovely this afternoon. I had a quick look on Instagram and put in the hashtag winter solstice. And I found this lovely quote. It says author unknown. I do not know who wrote it. It was not me, but I'm going to read it anyway. A winter solstice blessing. May you find peace in the promise of the solstice night, that each day forward is blessed with more light, that the cycle of nature, unbroken and true, brings faith to your soul and well-being to you. Rejoice in the darkness, in the silence find rest, and may the days that follow be abundantly blessed. I'm keeping the lights down a little lower tonight. Just feels right for the longest night of the year. We've had a good day. I visited with a friend and had a cup of tea with her this morning. And then Mr. Stitches and I went out to have a cup of tea at our favourite tea shop and then went for a walk. It was drizzling when we left the tea shop. And then the rain got a little harder and a little harder. And in the end, it was really heavy. He had had the foresight to bring rainproof trousers. And he was wearing his waterproof jacket rather than his ski jacket. I was wearing my black winter coat and jeans. I did have my waterproof hikers on and my pink Santa hat. But by the time we had had our walk, during which we had to detour to a nearby gas station to use the bathroom because I was desperate, and then we looped around back to the car, we were both pretty damp. He managed to stay mostly dry, but my winter coat allowed the water to soak through right to my t-shirt underneath. And the jeans from the coat hem down to the hem were really wet. And so it was really good to get home and strip off all the damp stuff and put some comfy, warm, dry clothes on. My hair got completely flattened and wet as well. So not really sure what it looks like. Didn't really check it that well before I got in front of the camera. I've made a decision on what to make with some of the Heartland yarn I have left over. I have a lot. There's a whole pile of it, but I'm going to show you the colours in case you weren't here earlier in the year for Mr. Stitch's scarf. I'm going to show you the colours I have. So this one, let me see, I'll give you the colour names as well. This one is called Redwood. Gorgeous, right? This green one is Rocky Mountains. This beautiful rust one is Yosemite. The blue is Olympic. And the gold is Canyonlands. I do have some pale pink, and I can't remember where I got that from because I don't recall buying it myself. I'm not sure. But yeah, I don't think it's really going to fit with the theme of the other colours. I quite liked working with this yarn. It looked lovely in stockinette. I did a stockinette tube for the scarf to hide in all the loose ends from changing colour every row or round. And this time I wanted to try crocheting with it. So I have done a very small little screen record of the pattern on Ravelry that I found. So I'll insert it here. I'll put it right there. It's called the Faraway Jumper, and it's by a designer called Iron Lamb. It's been in my Ravelry queue for a while because I think I came across it way earlier in the year when I was thinking of joining in with Ali from Little Drops of Wonderful and her plan to make herself a Christmas sweater. And she had this Christmas sweater along a very loose plan and a very long-term plan. And she ended up not completing it. Actually, that was last year. She wanted to have one done last year, and she had all sorts of issues with the sweater she was making. And I haven't seen any mention of it again this year, but then I haven't watched all her Vlogmases because I've been busy making my own. It's a crocheted top-down sweater, and it has some color work around the yoke. It's in a granny stitch, so it's going to be pretty easy because there's no little fiddly working in stitches. It should be fairly straightforward. And I'm not sure how I'm going to use my colors. I'll probably add more of the striping in further down the body if that works, or maybe just do more color work on the yoke itself rather than just the few rounds it has in the pattern. It's £5 to buy on Ravelry, so I will pick that up probably later tonight. And it is written for DK. Lion Brand Heartland is a worsted weight yarn, a number 4, but it is quite thin. It's definitely on the lighter weight of worsted. When I knitted the scarf for Mr. Stitches, I used a 4.5mm hook, which is quite skinny for a worsted weight, if you can see that. So I'm thinking it'll work fine for a DK pattern. But of course I will swatch for gauge. I will be a good girl and swatch for gauge. So that's the plan. I'm glad it was in my queue. And the funny thing was, I checked my queue before I went searching for other patterns. And then I had a fruitless search for other ideas. And I thought, I'm looking for a top-down crochet sweater in a granny stitch. Why can't I find any? Went back to my queue and there it was, sitting there all the time. Cinnamon vanilla tea goes very well with gingerbread cookies. Well, that's the end of Vlogmas for today. Day 21. Winter solstice. Just a few days now until Christmas Eve. I have 3 days off, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day and Boxing Day, which is lovely. Tomorrow, my plan is to bake mince pies. Oh, one of my favorite things about this time of the year. There's something about only having something at one time of the year that makes it extra special, don't you think? But yes, mince pies here aren't really a thing. Fruitcake. People don't really make fruitcake themselves here. If they have it, they buy a very sad imitation of fruitcake. It's a slab of very dry white cake with brightly coloured, fakely coloured. Is that a word, fakely? Artificially coloured, there we go, green and red cherries, and oh yeah, the bane of my existence, fruit peel. Never did like candied fruit peel. And it just doesn't look right. And no wonder people say they don't like it.
Honestly, they buy this thing that's wrapped in plastic. It's dry. It's artificial. Nobody put any love into it. True fruitcake's got to have body and spice and love and not necessarily alcohol. I know you were saying alcohol there in your head. But yeah, it should be rich and moist. Not dry and sad like the ones in the shops. Anyway, I think I've waffled on long enough. So I'm hoping that tomorrow, Sunday, is going to be a day of baking and making, and also getting the kids out, and the husband, of course, to the show in the evening. We're going to see a Christmas musical. We're really looking forward to that. So I'll see you tomorrow.